this is long overdue. I was expected to I wanted to go on live earlier in the day, but unfortunately I went to work, so I couldn't, achieve that. So I decided to talk about this topic tonight so that we can move on to other things. And that has been something critical we need to, get out there. And that is Nigerian beadwork. If you notice, our kind of project that we do is shaped by our culture, and it is quite distinct from different geopolitical zones that we are hailing from. So the kind of beads that we make, you you see the distinctions. They are quite subtle, but yet you also see them. So that is why we are talking about Nigerian beadwork today, and from this be able to know visibly um, how culture shapes the things we do, and in this case beadwork. And we are going to talk about generally Nigerian beadwork from different locations, all the beadwork, compiled together that make up um Nigerian um delights, right? So now let me talk about this. Why is this even important? You may ask. Beadwork in Nigeria, as I explained, that is deeply rooted. The things we do, how we make our beadwork, you understand, by our culture. So it shapes our kind of beadwork. The beadwork that we do kind of is shaped from where we are hailing from, identity, and um who we are, right? Generally. So we have our own unique and genuine unique styles. So for instance, excuse me, please. For instance, we have our own unique style in Nigeria. So when you're talking about Nigerian beadwork, you're looking at it from the angle of where we are coming from, like who we are, right? So you cannot just say um this thing is a beadwork independently. Hello, thank you for being here. Let me know where you're watching me from, and then share in the phone. Yes. Oh, you're French. I don't understand much of French, but then I hope you can get me. You're talking about Nigerian beadwork, and we have three major regions in Nigeria, and our culture as a people shapes the kind of beadwork that we make, right? Oh, you're not understanding. We are talking about the things that we make. Let me see if I have um a project at hand. Just a moment, please. Let me see if I have a project at hand. Wow. Hello, so I am back. No, I don't speak French, Maxime. I don't speak French. So I wanted to describe to you the kind of beadwork that we make in Nigeria. It is shaped by our culture, right? So if you go online and you see so many traditional weddings and you take a look at the regalias that they are wearing, take a look at the beads that the beads that they are wearing, putting on the hair, some in the neck, very long corals. No, it is dependent. This is unique, can be you can relate it to where they're coming from their culture. So, oh, I'm Nigerian, I'm an African, Maxine, yes, and I don't speak French. So so today we are going to talk about different regions with different regions that have different. Oh, thank you so much, JWS. So we're talking about different regions, different cultures, and different projects. For instance, this is a unique piece. Oh, by the way, I made this piece in the last video. If you have watched my last live session I made, we made it real time, something like this. So let's say you make something like this. This is general, right? But if you now incorporate coral beads, if you incorporate coral beads to this, then you're trying to define Nigerian culture in your own unique way, right? So we're going to just talk about briefly in few, how many minutes? I'm not going to really take too much of our time here. So we are going to, go right in and talk about how it influences the kind of things we make. I mean, I'm talking about bead, the kind of bead we make, kind of location we find ourselves, and how the beads that we make influences what we do. So, and by learning different traditions, you'll be able to keep the heritage alive. You know where this particular bride is coming from, or this person is coming from, their unique taste, and also you'll be able to understand how their beadwork has deeper meaning to their creation and to their culture, right? So for jewelry makers like us, I make beads. If you have seen some of my live sections, you see where we talk about beads, tips, challenges, and all that. We try to understand these styles, and that helps us to create things that are authentic to a particular culture, the designs that they can relate to, relate to it, worldwide and to their various customers. So this is just a 30 minutes talk. Just want to talk to you about this. So welcome and thank you so much. This night it is what time is it? It is 10:47 p.m. here, and tonight we are going to talk about Nigerian beadwork. So we are just diving deep into our culture. So by the end of this live section, you understand the meaning behind these designs and create even your own, perhaps the one you love. As I told you earlier, there are different regions, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, uniquely crafted bead designs. So each of them are distinct to the region, right? So let's talk about them. So for Yoruba beads, the Yoruba design, the culture, they use it's pearls is not really our thing, right? It's not really our thing. But coral beads, if you have seen corals, they are really what um we display. It is mainly our bead statement, our signature statement, so to say. Now, when you are talking about Yoruba beadwork, you're talking about beads for royalty, for special occasions. So if you see people that are wearing these, they wear these regalias, they wear these sort of very big, we call it babariga here, right? So So if you see people wearing that kind of chieftaincy kind of look, yeah, you know that it's from the Yoruba region, and maybe this person is royalty, or it is a special event this they are going for, right? Then there are other things that they use these corals for, which I really don't stand for, but generally they use it for other things. But in most occasions, it is really beads that they use that royalties wear. In most occasions, royalties wear. I'm a Christian, so there are some personal preferences that I relate beads to. So I don't just wear beads because it is fashionable. It accentuates my dressing style, but then I also try to have a limit to whatever I wear, right? So now when you talk about Hausa bead wear, you're looking at these glass beads, layers of beads, and when you're talking about these, you're thinking about festivals, you're thinking about weddings. So that's when you actually see an Hausa wear beads, majorly for weddings, right? And they use it, they decorate it on their turbans, they decorate it, their caps, and other accessories. That is when you see an Hausa, you'll be able to know that this is an Hausa from the distinct, delicate piecework of design that they use the beads to make. Or I'm going to drop a shot where I would depict different regions with their distinct beadwork. Now, when you talk about Igbo Kwenu, if you've heard of Igbo Kwenu, I'm from the region, and also we use coral beads too, and coral beads, but we incorporate seed beads to it. We use it for weddings, we use it for chieftaincy titles and for dances, some traditional dances at the end of the year, things that we use. So we use the peach, we use the white one, and mainly our color is mainly red, white, gold combination. So if you see some of these pictures online where there are weddings, you'll be able to identify Igbo traditional wear from and how they weaved their pieces. I just want to mention quickly there are other regions too that have rich culture, and that also is distinct. It is also seen in the bead pieces that they make. That is the thief people. So when you see a traditional wear that is a black and white kind of stripe pattern with matching beads, now that you know that these ones are the thieves, right? And they have matching beads. Then when you see Edo people, their own is also similar, and but their own is really humongous and so costumey, and and it's more of coral beads too, and it depicts royalty too. Is for traditional wears. So that is all about just a sneak peek into the Nigerian beadwork, and each region they have their different designs, and with their designs you'll be able to identify location that they are doing, and you'll be able to give meaning to what they are working on. So now let's say that you want to make a bracelet and you want to incorporate a little of what you have learned here briefly, not really totally. You just want to apply what you have learned here to make a bracelet and all that. There are few bracelets that you can do that, oh, once you make it, people will know that, wow, this is a beautiful bracelet and is Yoruba inspired kind of bracelet, right? So once you majorly, if you go with coral beads, you are defining tradition. That is when you're defining culture. Then if you use coral beads and you now incorporate with some golden beads and all that, now there you go. That is like you made a cultural design. I wish I can pull up. Okay, I'll pull up a bead I made some time ago with coral beads, and although they are quite heavy, and but they are really fine with lots of gold accents and all that. They are really, really fine. So tip to work on whenever you want to work on a bracelet is once you make a bracelet, let's say you make something like this, just make sure that there is a balance in the size. The size of the beads are consistent. Don't overdo it. That is really how to go about to make a Yoruba inspired or any of the Nigerian bead designs. You must balance the bead sizes. Don't overdo, don't let it be so much. If not, you lose the texture, you lose the authenticity of the simplicity in those designs, yet carry a whole lot of weight in the whole piece, right? Okay, so now once you just start working on a piece, as I told you, make a very simple finish, a very simple straight line. Keep the beads bogus and costumey, and add corals and a pearl accent. You are good to go. So that is how to make a consistent size balanced bead, especially a bracelet. Okay, some you can ask, some people have been asking, but why do you still retain this bead? Why do you still want to be working on this kind of style? It is too costumey and ew, it is quite heavy and all that. Yes, some people still want to keep the authenticity of their culture alive, right? They want to still maintain the integrity of their culture, which is a very beautiful thing. From that, you'll be identified as this is this person from this region. I can talk about your heritage and all that. And his favorite thing that we wear most of the time in our weddings, especially traditional weddings. Some brides try to use the opportunity to depict who they are as a people. And that is really a beautiful thing to do, and that is a beautiful place to be also. So sometimes when you're working on beads generally, you encounter some challenges, and that is also uh, common in every beading that you make. Is not exclusive to other beads, even with traditional beads that you want to work with. So let's say you start working on some traditional beads, be aware of sometimes you could encounter some frustrations, like maybe sometimes the bead that you're working is you don't have the whole of the bead. Let's say you just need like 16 pieces to complete a neck length, right? A necklace. You don't have the complete pieces, so you now go for other beads. So be mindful of uneven beads. When the beads are not even, one, it loses the texture of the authenticity of the traditional essence, the traditional taste, right, of the bead that you are, of the project that you are making. So it is always good when you go to your local stores that sell traditional beads. It is always important that you get from genuine suppliers and then find out from them how many of the pieces will make a whole length, so that you don't go and buy something that you that is not um complete, that is not a complete set. You understand? So that is really important. Then also another thing is when it comes to traditional wears, authenticity is very, very important. So it's also important that you don't buy beads that are fading. Your beads more your the beads that you purchase must be store bought. Two, they must be high quality. Three, and you have to take care of them, like keep them away from sunlight. Have you really handled a traditional bead before? You know how heavy it is. Now that is how genuine it is. It is really as heavy as any other thing, and that is why exclusively traditional rulers wear it and all that. Imagine wearing a whole weight on their neck and not just one strand, maybe many other layers, right? So authenticity, durability, high quality is really, really, really important when you want to choose and get buy your traditional beads. Yeah. Then another thing that we also encounter most sometimes is if the string that you are using starts breaking. Yeah, it means that the sometimes when you buy these beads and you have made it a long time for a long time ago, the likelihood that these beads will start cutting the thread is there because it has stayed there for a very long time, right? So it is really important that you you pay attention to the thread that you are purchasing. Buy high quality thread. One, now buy highly durable thread. I'm not working now. I would have shown you. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I have anyone here. Okay, this thread I have here is a fishing line, and this is a 25 millimeter in diameter of thread. That is how thin or thick it is how you um define the diameter. This one is not suitable for corals because corals are quite heavy. The authentic coral beads are quite heavy, and you must not use 25 millimeter to string them. Instead, you go for 50 millimeter or you go for 100 millimeter to string them if you want them to last. If not, they will cut the thread, right? So you need to use durable thread for it. Then that is on that. Now, how do you adapt to Nigerian beadwork for modern designs? Now, that is where this comes into. So, most of the time now, the designs that you are seeing lately in our Nigerian market are infused beadwork with modern designs, right? A beadwork that is a modern kind of design infused with culture and all that. And that is really a beautiful thing. It's so fine and unique in its own. And it doesn't take away the tradition out of the overall piece, right? For instance, when you have a coral, you now want to make a simple coral bead, make a choker or make a martini, or you want to make, all these minimalistic bracelets you add with so many accents instead of making it costumey and just plain and bird as that you just go ahead, to accessorize and add your own design. You blend it. For instance, if you have seen some of those designs that they make, Hausa glass beads, they now add some metal charms or some charms to it to give a fusion, kind of look. Then you see all these Igbo designs that are, festival ready, wedding beads. You see all those styles, you bold, fine, incorporate other beading techniques to it instead of the usual stringing thing, and that is beautiful. So, but whatever design that you are working with, always always keep in mind that you must give credit to the culture that you are getting these designs from and displaying them, right? So it is really, really important that this inspired designs that you give them credit all the time. So um for instance, let's say with this kind of bracelet, pearl, simple pearl bracelet, you can get inspired from this to make your own simple coral bead fusion traditional bracelet. It is into the modern design. It is really not difficult. And then the process is also as simple as this. You string your beads, make them even, get authentic beads, you finish it off with a clasp and a hook. And then you are in for the next project. So I just wanted to talk to you about briefly about different designs that we have across different regions that define us as a nation. And then when you talk about when you talk about where you see all these different designs, if you go to a wedding, if you go to any kind of festival, you always see people, you know, expressing themselves in their different cultures. So with beads, it is really more than fashion in Nigeria, right? It is a record of our heritage, record of beauty and pride. So that is really all about it. I told you I'm not going to waste, and we have come to the end of this brief like session. If you enjoyed today's cultural dive that I'm talking about today, not really, I didn't want to get so handsy to start working on this and all that. I just wanted to talk to you about how we see beadwork in Nigeria and different regions that display this kind of beadwork, right? So if you enjoyed today's tutorial, do well, gist or talk, do well to like, share, and subscribe. Then also, so that you do not miss day three. Day three, what we are going to talk about essentially is we are just going to talk briefly on bead weaving stitches that we have and how to use them to transform maybe simple beads to, stunning pieces. You can just make something as simple as this and it becomes a very stunning piece and stunning design. So invite other viewers, invite other people that are bead enthusiasts to post their creations, and then let's share the fun. And then if you have learned how to make a Nigerian bead from any region, do well to chat and engage and let me know how well we can collaborate and do something beautiful and exclusive. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for being here, and God bless. Have fun today. Choose. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.